Tip of the day number 6. Health workers, stress and the feelings associated with it are by no means a reflection that you cannot do your job or you are weak. Need help and support? Please contact us at the hotline 311, psychosocial support at 722-6575 or 518-4157. Brought to you by PAHO, the OACS Commission, and UNICEF.
I can't stay.
Good morning and welcome to the show. It is April 19th, 2021. Thank you guys very, very much. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope it was fun. I hope it was enjoyable. And again, I thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. We appreciate it. And for those of you listening to us on our radio partner station, that is Hits FM 92.1 and 91.1, good morning to you. If you're watching us on television on channel 124, that is Flow. We appreciate that too. Thank you very much for staying with us and, continuing on the journey that we've set on to just speak truth. Maybe it is speaking truth to power sometimes, but, just being honest. And of course, we cannot forget those of you watching us now where we are being streamed live on the different social media platforms like Instagram and Twitch and Facebook, YouTube. We're on YouTube today and every day, and of course on TikTok. So again, we have a lot to talk about, but I do want to say a special good morning and happy birthday to a dear friend of mine, Shazia Edward. I know you enjoyed it yesterday, and I wish you many, many more. Okay, so let's start here, where we, it's been given a name now, the Belrose Doctrine. And like I said, I like the ring of it. I like the tone of it. I think it's an apt description of what we're seeing with Fortuna. And I think too, it's not just something that we've seen and heard recently. I mean, maybe now we're paying attention, but it's something that I think she's always subscribed to, and she's always had this sort of thinking from even way back when. And no, it's not just resources, it's for all different manner of things, where she thinks some people have to have a certain level, some people supposed to get certain perks when others do not. So let's take a look back at the Fortuna, what do you call it, the Belrose Doctrine in full force.
I think your stadium should be in where the center of your population is. I've always had that opinion. I was not a part of that decision when it was made in 2000. I think it was wonderful that we got the stadium, but I think in the last 16 years, one has seen that the stadium has not served us in the way that it could because of its location. Tim, we are a poor country. We are a small country. We do not have resources. Youngsters who want to go to the stadium on a daily basis to train, because that's what it's there for, they have difficulty accessing the money to be able to get to the stadium. It's away from everybody else.
Interesting stuff there, and you could tell how important that stadium ended up being for us in the South. And it's also a thing where pitting people against each other. So j'avais for akodi South me stadium of for munpa akodi for panaflit. That sort of thing where you're putting more division and that sort of thing. That is infuriating, but I think it really puts things in perspective from the very, very beginning of where, what kind of thinking that goes on there, and why are you comfortable, saying these things and being so unapologetic about it. She said it, and now that you're getting all the reactions, now people trying to dial it back, and some trying to distance, some staying, straight in it and saying that they're not budging and she was right and they're proud of her and all that sort of thing. So we're going to take a look at that, but before we do, let's take another look. Yes, we've heard it, but for those who haven't, the very few I guess who haven't heard the latest Belrose Doctrine, let's take a look at it again.
I mentioned earlier that when you elect a government,
You elect them on the basis of the policies and programs that they set out. The people of Castries East categorically chose to reject the United Workers' Party.
Just hold the line, caller. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I'm saying the people of Castries East chose categorically to reject the United Workers' Party at the last election. Yeah? 11 other constituencies said to the United Workers' Party, yes, we want to build a new St. Lucia with you, we are on the road with you, and we'll be working with you. And so the government sought to invest in those communities where they bought into the philosophy and thinking, you understand, of the government. It's very important that a community buys into the vision. When the Prime Minister came in, we just did a tour of the constituency. We made no promises. No promises at all were made. Because I'm a community worker and I understand when you raise people's expectations, the challenge it can pose for you. So we didn't make promises.
Just before you go, Minister.
Yes.
The other thing too is that added to that, there is that dynamic.
Yes.
That while she's saying that certain things you could have done, when you would have tried to intervene and do things, then you have the popular saying by the other side, you are selected and not elected, and so there's interference.
Yeah, but even that, I'm not even too worried about that, because
the point I want to make is that when government tries to intervene in opposition constituencies, there's a lot of resistance.
Right.
Because they're saying that in terms of getting things done as well.
Yeah, but I think the critical thing is people must understand that you selected Mr. Philip J. Pierre to represent you in Castries East. His job does not end on election day.
So when you look at that now, you have to wonder, okay, so in the beginning when she was saying, what you for doing with the stadium? Okay, with the Marsha grounds, what's happening with it? Because they didn't vote you in, they're not going to get any assistance with that. Nobody cares about Marsha grounds. What exactly are you saying? These sort of, just making up statements, putting things out there that have no real depth of thought, no real anything. We're seeing how it's coming out, and I have to say that it was, I don't know, do you want to say that? You'll call me and disagree with me if you want to. But I think there is no way Puse Muna ki vle try a day who spin ekfe lot bagay, and no, that's not what she meant. She was very open, if we're going to be honest, and that is so different, and that seldom happens with this administration, that when somebody's actually honest and truthful, and it might not be something that we like, but at least she is. So I want to thank her for being so open with a philosophy on politics and a philosophy on how to treat St. Lucians, how they are treating St. Lucians. Thank you for finally being honest about the way that you guys do things. Thank you very much, Fortuna. I don't know, somebody told me, guys, Fortuna says spy for SLP. Why would Fortuna say that? As if, that is, I don't know, but at least it's out there, and it's the honest truth. So I think when I listened to that, the response to it was something that Dr. Anthony said that I think, it made me think a lot. Let's take a listen.
Senator Belrose was never rebuked. It takes courage to rebuke and disown a minister. It is too much to expect the member from Miku North, the Minister of Finance, to disown the Belrose doctrine. He lacks the moral courage. But it is more than that. It is at the heart of his approach to governance, as I shall demonstrate later in my presentation. And Mr. Speaker, the question I set at the commencement, I now answer. Why is it that the minister could not rebuke Fortuna Belrose for her infamous statements and for the Belrose doctrine? He could not rebuke Senator Belrose because without a doubt, he is a practitioner and cultivator of the Belrose doctrine. I end my case, Mr. Speaker. The emperor has no clothes. I thank you very, very much.
The emperor has no clothes. Okay, so with this one, I thought it made me think, about courage and how it is so needed, how it is a quality that maybe we don't think that we need very much when you're talking about leadership. But I would go as far as saying that it's not just for the Prime Minister who has to rebuke, I thought, it would have been easy to just say that, you know, you distance yourself from that, say, you know, I don't know, but something. Instead, we're seeing the Prime Minister doing the opposite. But it's not just the Prime Minister either. I think Dr. Anthony made a point where people who do not rebuke it, people who see nothing wrong with it, people who try to defend it, they too, it is at the heart of their way of doing things. That is what, you know, they agree with it, so they try to defend it. And it's not just the Prime Minister, anyone. It is up to all of us to have the courage to say when something is wrong and when it's right. And that's not just for anyone, you know, in politics. It's not for the minister. It is for anyone here in St. Lucia, anywhere else, and we're seeing something and you know that it's wrong. What is wrong in saying that it's wrong? How is it difficult to do that? But I think that is a very important point, but it's also in, you know, trying to disown it and having the moral courage. These are some, you know, these are traits, qualities that I think is needed in any leader, in any person. But I think too that for the people surrounding this administration, the people we know of, the people that we hear the stories, we see the documents, we know how they operate, they cannot rebuke Fortuna. Pisio Memkoli.
You remember the groceries, man?
Whenever we are sick anymore,
Nancy, swear on your life. Let me see if you have that heart. Swear on your life that you are not being political when disseminating products or certain things to your people. I want you to swear. Say, I, Nancy Charles, swear that I distribute food equally.
Yadi, when I, Nancy Charles, am in distribution or in charge or with a position to assist anybody from my office, I have never, ever, nobody can come to you and say that they have come to me, Nancy Charles, and I've never asked them anything about the political affiliation. So I'm not somebody who swear, I don't swear, but I can tell you, nobody.
Nancy doesn't swear?
They've come to me, Miss Nancy Charles, and come to my office, because people do come to my office seeking assistance, seeking help, and I have ever asked them, who you voting for, which party you supporting.
Nancy,
if I can,
Nancy,
and I am in a position to
you will not ask somebody who they're voting for. You know your people, but you know your people. How you wouldn't ask them? You would ask your auntie if that's my auntie.
I know everybody in St. Lucia that's supporting UWP.
I'm talking in your capacity when you give in your area or whatever you have to give in your area. All contracts you have given, Nancy, you never gave it across the board to SLP or a team of SLP and UWP. You select your people.
I have not given any contract. I've not been in any position to give contract. So I've not given any contract.
So you never give nothing on behalf of the United Workers Party?
Sometimes we have little supplies, sometimes we have little...
But the little supplies, do you give them equally?
Equally whoever comes, because from my office...
Nancy, stop it, okay.
It's people who come, listen Yadi, it's people who come to the office of the Prime Minister, and in that capacity. At the constituency level, it's always been the council who do that.
Nancy,
involved in the council.
Nancy, look, people sending texts there so much. I don't even want people that have been deprived by you. And I don't even want to go that route. As a man, I will not even go that route. Because to me, it will be a bad potaste. You know, but look, you just build up the show there. Look. Oh boy.
No, yeah, these people can say a lot of things there, but it's proven.
Nancy, everybody cannot lie. Please, Nancy, not everybody will lie.
This is a political environment. The kind of things I have heard people say, and I'm like, what?
Anyway.
No idea what this is about. So don't tell me that people will not lie. People do.
Nancy, one will. So okay. What do you feel? What do you think of Belrose's statement about those that win, those that support, those who get support? Are those who are the winners? That's who they will support. What do you think about that statement?
I personally, Yadi, have had some discussions with the minister to clarify and to find out what is it that she meant.
Let me see if you will spin it too. What spin did she give you?
And what she meant by the statement. I've heard a lot of people say that what the minister was saying is that people, if you don't support the party, you don't get anything. And I said to the minister, well, this is what people are saying. This is what people are attributing your statement to. And the minister had clearly explained to me that this is not what she meant. What she spoke about, that is what the minister said to me.
Did you listen to it? But did you listen to it?
I did listen to the statement.
Okay, now let's take it. Let's be on a real note, eh? Was there anything to spin in that? When she even said categorically, that's the most important part of her thing. Categorically. You remember that word?
Yes, I do.
So how did she spin it? Did you accept her spin? Or were you bowled out?
I think I would like not to further comment on this one. It was her statement, and I try as much as
No, but you said but what did she say to you? You said she explained to you.
Yes, she did explain.
Okay, well, I want to hear her explanation to you.
She said that she never meant that if you don't support or vote for the party that you will not get anything. What she was trying to explain is the vision and the implementation of the vision of the government. That priority is given to constituencies who have sitting parliamentarians. And I think what I understood from what she said to me, what she was trying to say is that if you put me in parliament, when I'm sitting at the cabinet table and I'm your parliamentary representative, I have greater authority to negotiate and get a piece of the pie, as opposed to if I'm not in parliament and if I'm not your parliamentary representative. And you'd hear a lot of potential candidates say that, if you vote for me and I'm sitting at the table, I can get you a greater piece of the pie, put me in parliament, put me there. So I don't think she said it the way she should have, but that is what she meant and what she wanted to do.
I know you're trying to help, but you're not doing a good job. If that's what she told you for true. You know why? Because two of your politicians on your side, two of them, that's my friends, they tell me Belrose mad. That's the exact word. One said she's mad, and the other one said to me, how can a woman say that, Yadi? That woman is mad.
I'm not going to be so disrespectful, Yadi, and call anybody mad. People do.
No, but I wasn't the one who said it, it's her own teammate.
I tell you, I will not be so disrespectful and call anybody mad, because it is one thing for us to stay on the sidelines and criticize. But when somebody is sitting, you know that very well. I try to handle myself very well with you and Jaim, but it's not everybody who can come on your show, because when you send those shots at them, sometimes people say certain things that they should not. They say it in a way they should not have said. And so when people are under pressure or sitting in a particular setting, sometimes they say things that they shouldn't. We all make mistakes. We all say certain things that we shouldn't. So at the end of the day, we have to take it in that spirit.
But she was in her own setting. She was not she was in her home base,
That's what you think sometimes, but people.
No. So you're saying that's not her home base?
I said that sometimes people get nervous. You under pressure. You ask a question.
Anyway,
speaking.
I don't think so. No. You can't watch a former permanent secretary. Somebody who have been in the media so often that they're nervous. Nervous about what? Somebody who have been on the regional scene, on the Olympic
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us.
But Nancy, you try and spin a couple there, but I think you're bowled out.
You bowled me out?
Yeah, you bowled out. I think Belrose will pass it that one.
I can't stay.
Hi, I'm Jim Joseph, President of the Bosiju Community Group. We believe St. Lucia can win the war against the coronavirus, and here's how. Every community in St. Lucia must mobilize, coordinate, monitor and support residents the way we would before, during and after a natural disaster. Identify volunteers in your community, assign them roles and deploy them. Ensure your elderly and vulnerable understand all protocols. Help relatives, shield them from unnecessary contact with others. Identify those recently unemployed and vulnerable neighbors living alone. Put systems in place to filter updates from official sources throughout your community. Promote the hotline number 311. If it takes a village to raise a child, then all of us can come together to defend the village against the coronavirus. Let's do it.
Together let us win this war. Said we shall be a soldier. Together we can beat this corona.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This is the Jivan Jyoti English Church in Hosur, Tamil Nadu in India.
We came here for my wife came for some treatment at the hospital, Narayana NH Hospital.
Miss Anne, who needs to get a mammogram because the doctor says she has breast cancer and she can't afford it, Mr. Speaker. She needs a mammogram, she has to raise funds and she can't afford it. But the government can find money. The government can find money to spend. The government can find money. Mr. Speaker, he laughs. He laughs because he can afford to go to India for his health care. So he laughs.
This is the Jivan Jyoti English Church in Hosur, Tamil Nadu in India.
We came here for my wife came for some treatment at the hospital, Narayana NH Hospital.
He laughs. He laughs because he can afford to go to India for his health care. So he laughs.
It's essential that I took that vaccine. I've been waiting for it. So I took it right away. I mean, it goes to say the very same reasons that I took the vaccine. It's important that every single individual takes that vaccine. Once your age group is called, go ahead and get vaccinated and protect yourself. You can.
Maybe she was nervous, but you know, it's crazy. Not just that, not just crazy, it's pathetic. It's pathetic, and it again goes back to what Dr. Anthony said, that you need courage to see when something is wrong and when it's right. It's easy to do what they've been doing and to, you know, kiss ass, kiss the, you know, just follow whatever Shasdi says, whatever just has to toe the political line. That's easy to do, I imagine, the likes of Norbert and the rest of them doing that. But to be honest with yourself first, even that takes courage, to have some introspection and say, what must I do myself? Keep it is not fair, come away. Even that, you do, the honesty of that too takes courage. But we're seeing what Nancy and them will continue to do. But I think too, it is important to hear to know what people, how they're reacting. The United Workers' Party base. This is she was deputy chairperson of the United Workers' Party. We know Nancy Charles. So what does the leader of the United Workers' Party have to say with the Belrose doctrine? That too was interesting. And more than that, it's the way that he treats people that he doesn't agree with, from the very, you know, from the very basic, you know, sense of dignity and respect. We're seeing that lacking within the next video. It's going to be long, but I think it's very revealing. Take a look.
Stanley, it's one thing when you have constituents telling you that they feel marginalized. Okay? It's one thing when you have the constituents saying that to you, or saying that to the politicians, or just saying it in general. It's something else now when you have somebody who's either a minister or an MP or hoping to become an MP or minister making a statement like that, that kind of conveys, well, if you don't buy into our policies and our plans and this and that and the other, you know, basically you're going to be sidelined. Wow. And I found it strange. I said, well, maybe the Prime Minister wasn't asked a direct question as it related to that, because you're just talking about the fact, and I think I understand what he's saying, that he said, listen, Ms. Belrose has not had an opportunity to serve as like the MP, the MP for the area. That's not her role really, because it's being done by Mr. Pierre. And then the Prime Minister said that Mr. Pierre has been serving there for how many terms he served. And also he was once Minister for, I think, Tourism, Minister for Commerce and so on. And the Prime Minister is saying, yeah, that infrastructure. And the Prime Minister is saying, well, when you look at cash resist, it should be a lot more developed. I mean, he's saying that, right? So I'm just saying, is it that they're not developed? Well, no, I guess the Prime Minister is saying, well, it could have been developed. I think that's what he's trying to say. It could have been developed under his watch, which is still the MP for cash resist. But I'm just saying, and I go back to, I want to get Charlie's take on it. Yes. When you hear an MP saying that basically you're going to be sidelined because you didn't buy into the policies of a government. Let me get this.
We have a first past the post system in a constituency, which means you can win a particular constituency by only one vote. One vote. So therefore, all of the other people who supported you, Andre, all of who supported a particular party, because the other side won by one vote, you are going to marginalize all of those people?
Excuse me, Andre.
Yes, Sammy.
The PM wants to call you there for about 5 minutes.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, 4517-260. 4517-260. You can.
Yes, Mr. Prime Minister, we'll be taking your call. Yeah, 451-7260. The Prime Minister is calling, so we want to make sure we take his call and ensure that he keeps it up. This is about 5 minutes, okay, because we have Straight Up coming up at 11 o'clock this morning. We're waiting for the Prime Minister to call. 451-7260. Okay, yes, Stanley, you were saying.
I'm saying, Andre, you have, for instance...
Yes, sorry, Stanley.
Yeah,
sorry.
so in a particular constituency, it's first past the post. So you can win only by one vote. So do you therefore turn your back on all of the other people who supported you? The winning side may have won by just one vote.
Okay, you think the Prime Minister may be on the line? Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Prime Minister, good morning to you, sir.
How are you all?
We are well. How are you?
Good. I see you all are hurting yourselves this morning, so I figure I would try to call and create some peace.
Yes, Mr. Prime Minister. I'm glad you called, and I hope you will address, what we're really talking about this morning, this issue of, Ms. Belro's statement, and, sounds as though because, constituents don't vote for a particular MP or whoever, that they are marginalized. I don't know if that question was asked you directly, but when you weighed in, you spoke more about representation in terms of the current MP for Castries East. So, would you like to address this matter, Mr. Prime Minister?
Sure. I mean, I addressed it on the morning when I was asked the question, Andre, and I indicated, and you started going down that road from the onset, which is that Ms. Belrose, here's what exactly I said. I said, Ms. Belrose and I come from a fraternity of sportsmen. And one thing I know about sportsmen is that none of them go to a game to lose. Fortuna came into the race late in the game, and I think that she really represented herself well. She represented the United Workers' Party extremely well and gained significant ground. But it certainly was not enough to have defeated Philip Pierre. And the reality is that the only status that she has is as a minister. But when it comes to the constituency, she is the representative of the United Workers' Party. She is the candidate, the selected candidate. And so therefore, the responsibility of governance in the constituency still falls on Philip Pierre. And she doesn't have a role in that. Now, she does help people in the constituency through the party mechanism. We have our own women's arm, we have a youth arm, we have a welfare arm, and we do things as a party in all of the different constituencies, but that is what her particular role is. Now, to continue the conversation that you all started, and I hear my very good friend Stanley talking about that I should have come in and condemned her for what she had said. Where was his voice when the Labour Party had affirmative action?
Oh, I condemned it.
Okay.
I condemned it, and you should know that, Mr. Prime Minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a party that not just, you talk about the Belrose Doctrine. Affirmative action was approved and passed at a convention of the Labour Party. And if you want to now, when somebody says that kind of nonsense to you, you have to ask yourself, is there evidence to suggest that this government, led by me right now, has in any way discriminated against opposition seats?
But Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, but this is the impression, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, but this is the impression we got from Ms. Belro's statement, that if you do not buy into the policies of the government, basically, well, we are moving on, we're not going to be servicing you, and this is the impression that we were left with.
The United Workers' Party manifesto, because that's what it is, the manifesto, which was up on a referendum, and the vast majority of people in St. Lucia approved the referendum. Not everybody did. There are 6 constituencies that the majority of people did not approve the manifesto of the United Workers' Party. What she's saying is that we're moving on with our plans. It's not a discrimination of anyone, and you all should know that. Look at the work that's taken place in Vieux-Fort South, with roads, with water projects, with ITEL BPO and Ojo Labs, the improvement in the airports, the improvement of all the port facilities, improvement in schools. None of the schools have been discriminated. How many schools have we repaired in Castries East? How many schools have we repaired in Dennery North? And how many schools have we repaired in Labrie? All throughout this country. Nobody's been discriminated. When we build roads, everybody gets to use the roads. When we fix up healthcare facilities, everybody gets to use them. So that's absurd. And I think that the other part of the question you were asking was I was asking the question, given that Philip Pierre is the self-proclaimed deputy prime minister of the country and has held the portfolios of tourism, infrastructure, and of commerce, should Marsha be in the condition it is? And Stanley, you should be ashamed of yourself, honestly, to even suggest that Sir John in any way neglected his constituency. Come and see the roads this man built, the water that this man built, community centers and health centers. And I have now come in to do what? To modernize those facilities. Wow. If you come and see the amount of people that benefited from United Workers' Party's policy, why did they call it green gold? Look at the number of homes that are built in the constituency. So I think that that's very unfair and very biased, I have to say to you. And I have to agree with Charlie. Sometimes I really wonder as whose agenda if you're really on when you'll be able to speak this. But you are free to speak what you want to speak. But call it what it is.
That's a lot, Prime Minister. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Mr. Prime Minister, I'm sorry, Mr. Prime Minister. You know we're running out of time, so we appreciate the call. But if I can just ask you, just to basically, are you saying then that when Ms. Belrose made that statement, that's not what she meant to say? That if people don't buy into the policies and programs of a particular government, that they are being sidelined? You're saying that's not what she meant to say?
But you have to ask yourself and understand what she says. Is there any evidence that the United Workers' Party under this government right now has discriminated against any of the constituencies?
So why, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, so why make a statement like that?
Because what she is indicating is that she doesn't have a role. She is not the elected candidate, the candidate. Because the people in Castries East now, the work that's taking place in Soufriere, see the work that's taking place in Dennery South, see the work that's taking place in Ancillary Canneries, and want to have a rep with that kind of vision. Maybe Philip Park and Marsha Grounds. Why are they still in the condition they're in? He certainly had the ability all those years to have shown his vision, and that's my problem with the Labour Party. They're very good at talking about things, but they cannot do things. They cannot come 20 years later and say, oh, we started this, or we had this idea. You had the time to implement them. Time has passed through now. The Labour Party needs to reinvent itself. That's what it means.
Mr. Prime Minister, in all fairness, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry to disturb you. In all fairness, I think we need to allow Stanley to respond to some of your statements. Stanley?
A couple of them, Andre. Sure. And first of all, I do not think to make it appear like Marsha or Castries East is the only rundown, if you want it. You know, people are very careful with those things. And part of Castries would be a misrepresentation. You just go throughout whatever surrounds the city is run down. He's not the one representing all of the city. I'm not here to defend him and to defend his record, but it speaks clearly that most of the areas surrounding Castries, we know, are in need of serious attention, and Marsha is not the only one. So for us to start singling out Marsha is to me being selective. But more importantly, I think what Senator Belrose said, whether the Prime Minister wants to say it does not represent what happens, is a very unfortunate statement and should have been, I think the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, you should have distanced yourself from that statement. If you think it does not represent what happens and what your government does, I'm not arguing that, you should definitely have distanced yourself from that statement.
There are a couple of things I want to say. Is it in my own constituency, Miku South, and I've said it before I was elected, and I've continued to say it and would put it to practice. Some of the solutions for the constituency cannot be resolved by work in the constituency, which is what I think what you're saying is some of the problems in Castries East cannot be resolved by only looking at Castries East. So in order to allow young people to remain in the South, we need to be able to develop View Fort. And that's what we're doing. Now, you're telling me that Philip Pierre, who was the Minister of Infrastructure, the Minister of Commerce, the Minister of Tourism, and the Deputy Prime Minister of the country, could not understand that and help fix up Castries if that was going to help Castries East? That doesn't make any sense. And then when you talk about rebuke, what is it that you exactly want me to rebuke as to what Fortuna said? Fortuna didn't see anything wrong. She may not have been elegant what she said, but the reality is she didn't see anything wrong. And what you've interpreted or other people have interpreted to mean is not true because the evidence suggests otherwise. So I want to ask you a question, Stanley. So why is it that the Labour Party has not rebuked Ernest Hilaire for his involvement in the Jafali affair and currently what's taking place with his car? Why is it that nobody rebuked the Labour Party for having a march in the middle of COVID? Why has anybody not rebuked Kenny Anthony for Grindberg and Rochamel and all of his other indiscretions? I don't understand. So those things actually cost the country money. The statement that Belrose made, who is she hurt? She's talked about an ideology that has been put in practice by the Labour Party and has never been part of the policy of the United Workers' Party. We believe in developing a country for all. Discriminated against any other constituency is discriminated against ourselves. We need everybody to be all in to succeed. And that's all I'm saying is just be fair. People may want to interpret it a particular way, but the actions certainly don't support that. And if you want to rebuke people, there are much more serious grievances that have taken place in this country by the opposition. When the opposition decided not to show up to the meetings for COVID, who rebuked them? When they've walked out of Parliament, who rebuked them? Come on, gentlemen, let's be fair. Let us be fair. And we are in the silly season right now. Things are going to be taken at different levels. And I keep on saying, I'm really hoping that the media houses, and many of you do a fantastic job, bring the truth to light. Allow people to make up their minds for themselves. But do not present information as if it's factual when it's not. I mean, again, to suggest that Sir John did not really invest and make a difference in his constituency is a blatant lie.
Oh, well, I disagree with that, Mr. Prime Minister. I disagree with that. And
I really called to defend that part. Because Sir John has done too much for this country, and in particular, I'm in his constituency. Okay? This man has done so much for his... I mean, I go around and I marvel at the number of feeder roads and the amount of infrastructure that was laid down in that constituency between schools, healthcare facilities, community centers, and recreational facilities. And my job now is to come in now and refurbish them. For 20 years, this infrastructure was neglected. Labour Party, you think Labour Party was doing anything in the Mico seat? Nothing. But you know what? Let the politics and the elections will be coming, and the people will vote. People are very good at discerning what is real on the ground and what is not real.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, sorry, we'll have to kind of wrap it up. We appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and a nice weekend.
Yeah, well, it was a longer clip than usual, but again, like I said, it is really showing us a couple of things. In 15 minutes, we have seen the Prime Minister go through an emotional roller coaster. He's like, whip on. He said, you know, hi, Stanley, my good friend. Within, like that, saying that the man should be ashamed of himself. And I find that ironic. I do not know. And I have to commend Stanley on his composure. I think he handled that very responsibly, professionally. You know, he didn't get on. I give you kudos for that because I don't think I could have. I'm not going to lie to you. You shall see how every day I come in here and I have to hold myself back to hear somebody say that you should be ashamed of yourself for asking questions and for having an opinion on something that is as important as this national issue. I think it was disgusting behavior by the Prime Minister. Listen, so there are a few things that were said here that I really... How can the Prime Minister speak? And speak of shame. How can you speak of Sir John and praise him, laud him, when we know how you are treating his family? We know how you are treating his children. How can you do that in... You and the people following you and who will agree with you on every madness, every idiotic thing that that is being said here. That Belrose did not see anything wrong. Belrose didn't say anything wrong. Why is it nobody rebukes? Paola Paini go see Kenny Anthony Panday. So Kenny Anthony and everything that he has done and trying to put it, you know, on the other administration. I think, again, We need to demand more for ourselves as a country. When you look at what Sir John himself has admitted that, you know, right now they should look at, you know, the country nationally, there was not a real attempt at developing Miku. Let us just put it where it is, Missy. Anufeya, even when we look at the things that are there, you know, the jetty in Dofe, Kimunkife, Kenny, when you look at the lights on the playing field, the water projects, everything that they're boasting about is the same at the administration. Mem Kenny as a pioneer. It is disgusting, Prime Minister. And it really shows a lot about your character for every time what is wrong with you? But I think in all of this, when he says, he said something as well, who has she hurt by her statement? Prime Minister, Alan Shasney. Alan. Who has she hurt? When Belrose says that you did not, you know, subscribe to the ideology of the United Workers' Party, so if you didn't vote for them, you won't get anything. The thousands of St. Lucians, taxpayers, everybody who needs the support, who needs to be looked after, to be assisted by government, they are the ones that she has hurt, and not by the statement, because she just made a statement, but it's what's happening right now indeed. It is happening. These thousands of people are being affected by that. There is no way to spin it. Nicole Pamem Vini must work a match by email. Don't even try it. Nancy tried. Don't even do it. It's pathetic. It is sick. And St. Lucians will not forget. But I say all that, and I want to credit the man for Stanley. But on another basis, because I'm a journalist, because we are here in media, I take that as very, very seriously. But I've also heard Stanley responding to that this morning once again on the Yadi show. And when we come back, we'll take some calls.
Yadi, let me be honest. I'm a little circumspect about it. Of course, I was speaking about by the tone and everything else. And of course, you know, you leave there and you're thinking, wow, and I didn't expect that. That's a little low. But, and you live on and you move on and you address, you don't allow that to prevent you of addressing the core issue that was raised. Because often you have to ask yourself if those, the statements made are a distraction, a bait for you to probably just completely get distracted off what the main issue is, and you have to learn to stay on point and stay on issue. And we often say when we talk to other people and our people on the streets that they should learn to disagree without becoming personal. So you could have a disagreement with someone and a difference of opinion with someone, but you keep it at that. You keep it confined to the debate and to the argument. And it's a healthy thing for us to argue and discuss and debate in this country. And any other country, any other democracy, you need the lively debates. But we must learn to differentiate between the debates and the arguments and the personalities and you know, the personal attacks. That's all I think.
But okay, what really caused that? You guys have had encounters before. What's it though? What caused all of this? Because I only saw part of the clip, eh?
Okay, no. I mean, I think the PM and I have a fairly normal relationship. But you know, politicians and journalists are never going to be the best of bedfellows, because even if somebody enters politics as your friend or your pal, invariably, Yadi, you're going to be saying things and commenting on things that would not rub them in the right way, regardless who it is. And that's going to happen. So over time, whatever relationship you may have had will deteriorate. Unless if you're just doing PR, if you're doing PR for the government, then you're always going to be in the good books. If you are questioning as a journalist is supposed to be, if you are prodding, if you know, and putting people's feet to the fire, it is going to stir up some emotion. And, you know, it's not surprising that it has. And it's not the first time these things happen. But, you know, they have to be called out when they happen. And, you know, people have to take objection to them, particularly now in our country where we are telling people, listen, you can have differences without and stepping out of line. You know, and you can air out your differences to say, Yadi, I disagree with you on that particular point. And no. And we have a robust discussion on that and a debate on that without I getting personal with Yadi or Yadi getting personal with me. I don't know if you're following me.
But don't you notice that's the new trend, because that's not the first time that's happening in politicians towards media personnel or journalists.
Oh, certainly it's not.
I've seen it happening. It happened with Miguel. I've seen it with Riani. You know, as a matter.
So we'll take your calls now at 572-7588. You can also call on WhatsApp on 484-7588 as well. Now, we have to look at these things. When a prime minister will look at a journalist again, because it's been happening for a while now, to insult someone personally like that on a radio while the House was in progress, while the Philip J. Pierre was speaking. We'll remember that was on Friday at around 11 during the show. The Prime Minister left the House sitting to call the show to insult somebody who Bayo Mepui. What? Listen, Alan, I think you are losing it. You are showing us exactly what you are and how you're thinking, especially when you think maybe, you know what, maybe something's wrong, or maybe somebody's not, you know, worshipping you, then something must be wrong and you have to insult the person. You left the House, people were speaking, to go and call and insult like Baimun Mepui. And you will not apologize for it. I don't expect an apology, and I don't want it. I don't want any fake, useless, empty apologies and promises from you, okay? Let's take the call. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Well, the thing is that, again, every time I call you, you just make me blush, because you always believe that something, you know, surprise you. This is the prime minister we have. Mm-hmm. This is what our people vote for, and you cannot take a pig and make a pig a dog. You can take a dog and turn into a goat. Everybody knows who the prime minister is. The prime minister, the pressure of was going into in his head. He could not bear with what people were saying, so he had to come and pass the frustration on somebody that will not take him on. And I honestly know that is who that man is. And you know, Tresha, I'm going to raise this again for the last time, and I have said this and I'm going to say it again. You see, what is happening in St. Lucia, it is because of, it's not you and I, it is the majority of the way they think. And a lot of people says that when people speak a different language, like a Jamaican, a Bajan, right away they are loved more than you and I that is trying to speak their language. Mm-hmm. And what you see there, it is what I go back to South Africa, the days when the English went there with the Bible and the mirrors and fool our people and take and they become running. Bhutto was running South Africa and killing us, sending our people to jail, do all kind of things. Then go to Zimbabwe. When my partner come there, he drive away all of them and take over the country. In St. Lucia is the only black island in the Caribbean and Africa. White man is doing what Shasta is doing to us. You know, you realize that, right? Mm-hmm. Huh?
Yes.
You really have realized that?
I have.
There is no respect. There is no respect. There is. I mean, there is no respect. There is no empathy. There is no. The man dealt with us as if, well, I am a master. And whatever we can do, whatever I want, that's what you all have to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have to talk about places that have not developed, I went to Mikud and play cricket when I was a little boy. You could not even walk on the beach. You know, the way it is, and there was nothing happening there. And these areas down there has been UWP all their life. So when you talk about Marchand and you talk about where the Prime Minister is, what the Prime Minister have done in Mikud like that? What? Tresha, let me say something to you. Let me let somebody call. Mm-hmm. I am just, don't get me upset because I'm in a good mood, but thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you have a point there, because I think even when we think of what, you know, Kenny Anthony and that administration, what they have done, if there has been one criticism leveled at them by their own supporters, is that, you know, I think Dr. Anthony was trying to be an equal opportunity, you know, giver and employer and everything like that. And some of the Labour Party supporters were thinking, you know what, you know, he seems to be giving everybody, and UWP gets in and you're not getting that sort of thing. I think that is what, if we're going to be honest, Dr. Anthony in many ways did try to give, you know, in a way, or to assist people in a way that wasn't based on political colors. If anything, if we have heard the comments, the criticisms coming from the Labour Party supporters themselves. Let's take the other call. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tresha.
Hi, morning.
Tresha, seriously, I don't know why we continue to feel this sense of outrage, annoyance, anger, disgust at statements made by the Prime Minister in terms of St. Lucians, you know. Because by now, what we ought to understand, what we ought to realize, is that we must prepare ourselves to do what we needed to do to get rid of Alan Shastney and his UWP government from off our backs, off our necks. Alan Shastney has made it clear from day one how he feels about St. Lucians, especially those who do not embrace, as Fortuna Bellew said, his vision, his policies for St. Lucia. Alan Shastney has shown clearly that he stands for his family, friends, and select foreigners. Everything he does for those people. And the ironic thing about all of that is while Fortuna Bellew spoke about, you know, the 11 constituencies who voted for the United Workers' Party, those are the 11 constituencies that they were concentrating on. The ironic thing about that is that the vast majority of those people in those constituencies are systematically ignored by this government while they concentrate on their friends, family, and select foreigners. In fact, many United Workers' Party supporters are now saying openly that come the next elections, if either they don't vote or they vote for the opposition SLP. You know, so when we hear the Prime Minister insult Stanley Lucian on public radio, that ought not to surprise us. I mean, he has done the same to Janika Simon. He has done the same to Riani Isidore. He has done the same to Miguel Fevrier and a host of other people. And the more we continue to decry this abominable behavior by Alan Shastney and the rest of his cabal, and sit by and do nothing in terms of preparing ourselves to do what needs to be done, the worse that is going to get. I mean, I listened to the Prime Minister's budget addresses, you know, and talking as though, boy, you know, put me back in there for another 5 years. Does the Prime Minister believe that we're crazy?
That's what he's thinking. That's what he's hoping.
You know, that we're going to put you back there for another 5 years based on the 5 years experience that we've had with you? Based on everything we know about you? Based on everything we know about, you know, the other government ministers that you have in place? Man, go hide yourself somewhere. Thanks, Tresha.
All right, thank you very much. We've had a call on hold for a while now. Good morning. Thank you for your patience. Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Trisha. As I will tell you, once it's this gentleman that is on the air, I can wait until the whole day.
Okay.
Because he's very educational whenever he calls.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Good contribution.
But Trisha, if I could tell you, if life was like a candle bright, that would have been you today. Special day to you.
Ton chats, Mese, ton chats.
Yes, man. I want to support the call from the last caller there in terms of our Alan Shasdi. Now, I am starting it from here, and I'm calling on residents of the North, the Grosley constituency. If you will sit by and allow our representative, allowing all these things are happening in cabinet, all these things that are being done, and for him, he doesn't have a voice. We doesn't hear nothing about him. You know, it's a situation like your people would see right now. Two things I've observed, and I'll be sending out the pictures because I've taken the pictures already. I mark them. Right now, Spider goes in the KFC, the chicken thing there now. Buy boxes of chicken and go and spread it for people. Stevenson King does the same. I don't see them. I've seen them. So people, this is the politics right now. After 5 years, starve you for 5 years, and 2 months before election, give you a nice place of food with a nice chicken leg on it, and say, I'm looking after you. The people of the North, we need to stand and have our representative to represent us. And since he has failed to represent us, I'm calling on the North. Baby for the North. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the compliment, too. But yeah, I think I've seen that too in View Forts. But will it work? Will it work? Let's take our final call. Good morning.
Hold on.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, I would like to make a contribution, please.
Go ahead, sir.
I can hardly hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I want to say about what Mrs. Belarus said, it is very unfortunate. I don't think that she should have said that. But on the other side of the coin, that's how it has been for a while, you know. Whichever government that is in power, the constituencies that voted for them, they seen after them before the rest of the constituency. That has been there for a while. The unfortunate thing about that Belford said it clear that as those, if I don't y'all don't vote for me, I not seen about y'all. That's how it has been all along. The constituencies that voted for the government, whichever government, whether it's the UWP, whether it's the SLP, the government will look after the people, the constituencies that voted for them before they look after the constituency.
Caller, I would have to disagree with you.
That did not vote for them. That's how it has been.
I would have to disagree with you on that. I do not think.
Well, that is your choice.
It is my choice. Yes.
That's how it has been. They seen after the constituency that voted for them. I'm not saying they not seen after them, but before they look after the opposition side. That's how it has been on both sides of the aisle.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you very much.
I don't see the big fuss. Belarus is not the representative.
So don't make.
Although she want to be, but like I said, it is very unfortunate for her to say that. Very unfortunate. But again, I'm saying that's how it has been all along. The government on any side looking after the people that voted for them first. Thank you.
Thank you, Cole. I appreciate your contribution. Now, we saw Nancy do a piss-poor job of trying to make us believe that Fortuna didn't mean what she said. And now, with that call, and I'm sure that there will be other people who, when there's no way to go, when you cannot defend anything, say that everyone's the same. That sort of equivalence that you want to put with the SLP and the United Workers' Party. It cannot, and it is not the same. The level of victimization that you are seeing, I remember putting out a document that showed Guy Joseph and him receiving, the constituency receiving the funds to do projects and everything else. About going on to $4 million was spent in the last administration. That's from 2016. from before 2016 being given in that constituency, and there are ways of doing things and protocols to adhere to when you're doing that. Right now, you are seeing that if you have not voted this party in, you can musty payroll, you can pinu, and not just the voters either, but the parliamentarians themselves, the district reps, are not given anything to assist their people. Instead, what you're getting is people like London and people like Nancy having the opportunity, having the how can London be giving out contracts and giving out funds to people in Vieux-Fort North? It is not the same. It is not the same, and I will not, and I don't think anyone would have to fall for that sort of rhetoric where, because you know, they be say, they be open as but can they used to do it, but they used to do it. That's how it's always been. No, and we will not accept that. We will not forget that. This is not how it has been, and this is not what we should accept as a people. So, Pavinek sir, Nepot, Pavinek Bible sir, there is nowhere to go. You have to take it. You have to face it. The truth. I know it's very difficult for many of you in that camp in, you know, the United Workers' Party administration right now to deal with the truth. The Prime Minister sees no other way but calling a show and insulting people professionally and personally. And he will continue to do so. That's his modus operandi. He has to do what he has to do. That's him. There are other people. Nancy will do what she has to do. Everybody wants to make sure that it keeps on giving. They want to stay in power. They know what they have. Some of them know the debts they have. But we too, we deserve good governance. And anything that we can do to get it, we should. Belrose, there is nowhere to go. United Workers' Party, there is nowhere to go. Shasne, Usayele, Usajiwe, there is nowhere to go. You have to deal with it. You've done it. We're seeing it. And that's just what it is. So I appreciate the caller. I disagree with you, like I said, but I do appreciate you calling the show. And I want to thank all of you for watching and for listening. As always, as we begin the week, we will continue to have these discussions on different topics. We're going to look at it in the most honest way. And I know it makes you uncomfortable for the hacks and the ring the bells. I like when you're under the lies. Yes. Because when you're saying the truth, there is nowhere to hide. There is nothing, there's no ulterior motive or anything of the sort, because the truth is the truth. And like Dr. Anthony said, I guess, you need the courage to say it, to rebuke it, and to call it out. So once again, thank you guys very, very much. And I hope before, until I see you next, which hopefully will be 11, same time, same place, take care and be safe.
I can't stay.